What's up guys, this is Darth Veritas and I'll be taking a look at the Star Wars Outlaws gameplay. So clearly we're in the middle of some Pike Syndicate operation and we've got to get out. So at the moment it's showing us the stealth side to the gameplay, which for me I love. Any stealth game always reminds me of the Batman Arkham games to a degree where you have to rely on observation and strategy. And this is a great thing. So this little creature companion here, his name is Nyx, and their species are called Merkal. And so far, other than them being able to be domesticated, this is all we know about them. But it is great how we can use Nyx in this way. This does give me some BD1 vibes with a helpful, cute companion.
Hang on tight, little buddy.
Okay, so here we've been caught, so we're showing the other side of the gameplay, a more combative option. Love the quick draw, and I really appreciate the modified blaster that KVS has. Very typical for someone in her line of work to do, and I love how we can easily adapt to the situation. Right here, the standard mod isn't doing it, so we've got to switch to something more easy to bypass that shield, and there we go. Now we find ourselves in a tricky situation where the current weapon probably isn't doing it for us, and this is probably one of my favourite features in the game. Being able to get Nyx to bring you an enemy's dropped weapon, I love that. But of course this is all purely optional, there's nothing saying that you have to do that, there's no requirements. It's just how you want to get the job done.
Let's try this out.
Now the use of gadgets like this feels reminiscent of Jedi Survivor. I'm not gonna lie, what put me off here ever so slightly was the speed of how Cade dropped down from the height. In a rush situation like this, I can just imagine myself getting so stressed out, which I guess could be part of the experience, but I'd want that process just to be sped up a little bit, and then we can come to a sudden stop before we hit the ground. The driving mechanics right here feels very GTA with the ramps and the height that you can gain. The combat, while in this mode, looks very seamless too. There's a slow-mo effect that got me, and that for me is like a very Red Dead Redemption feel. I just hope that this Red Dead Deadeye mechanic isn't just limited to driving.
That was close.
So you'll notice on the left-hand side coming up, there's a small notification that will come up. It indicates that your reputation with the Pikes have gone down. So this is obviously showing us that KVS is able to create business relationships with criminal organizations, and what you do to them or even for them will impact that. Whether it means they give you less or more jobs, they're more prone or less likely to attack you on site, more or less work, or less or more payout from the work. I'm just speculating, but this is a very cool thing to have. So it kind of keeps you on your toes about being mindful about how you are with certain groups. See, the graphics look amazing. Yeah, the graphics do look a little janky with like the wind effects, but I figured they'll fix that later on. Now this droid right here, the one that's dripping with Riz, his name is ND5 and he's a commando droid. I'm sorry, but who knew that all it took was to put a trench coat on a commando droid? That makes me second guess what I am attracted to. So all I'm going to say is this game better not awaken anything in me.
Donka's a broker, not a friend. She can't be trusted.
Who can out here? See you back at the ship.
See, right here, this reminds me of the Bad Batch with Sid. How they're both information brokers and how they really shouldn't be trusted. I'd like to assume that this broker won't be the only one. Like you may see this one broker on this planet, and then on another one you'd have another one. So you could have like a broker per planet kind of thing, and they can give you local jobs or send you to different planets to smuggle or even go bounty hunting. Who knows? It's purely speculation, but I like to think that that's certainly on the cards.
Hey, he's on wait. We haven't met.
Don't really know many of you.
Stealing illegal contraband, running with syndicates. I could say you're a threat to the Empire.
So the bribe or not bribe element so far, that's just about to come up in this gameplay, only seems to show how much of an easy or a hard time you're going to have in the game. But to open that up a little bit, I'd like to think this isn't just a steer in your conversation, but if you've committed a crime somewhere and the Empire or local authorities hear about this, then you could bribe an official to get rid of that wanted level. Also, with Kay's image that will show up on the TV screens on our way out, so keep an eye out for that. It could be like a watchdog sort of gameplay that if your wanted level is high enough, and if you stroll into certain areas, see, her image just came up on the TV screens, that if your wanted level is high enough in certain areas, and if you stroll into those areas, you could get people that recognize you and report you.
I told you not to trust her.
Not the first time we've outrun the Empire.
We need to leave.
Yeah, no kidding.
So with this, I'm loving the flight gameplay. If you haven't noticed by now, when the black borderlines come in, this is just all cinematic, so there's nothing you can do to control the character or the ship. So the setting off, I'd assume landing too, wouldn't be down to your skill. So now we have the borderlines that have gone and we're in the sky of the planet. I've liked them to have shown the city from a distance while still on world, because I firmly believe that you can do so, which would be really cool if you were being chased while trying to make it into space. And you can have a great location for aerial combat. But that transition from world to space, it's a great little No Man's Sky type transition where we're going from planet to space. Looking at the controls on the right, it gives us a few options of the types of ammo and combat that we want to use against the enemy. And then on the left, we can see a hyperdrive, which we seem to be able to access at any time. Just the maneuver, it makes the option go red, indicating that you can't be doing too much in order to get out into hyperspace. So if you're rolling or if you're under attack, that might sort of lower that that time for you to enter into said hyperspace. Then the borderlines come back and we are here for the cinematic ride to the next star system. So maybe you can move the ship left to right, kind of like in Lego Star Wars, but you won't be able to sort of like nip out at any time. I think you kind of have to finish the full ride. Honestly though, I absolutely love the look of this game. It's showing us the very basic mechanics, and I will without a doubt be getting this game. I genuinely can't wait to see the story that they tell and how this is going to be integrated into the Star Wars story. Yes, there are areas where the gameplay and mechanics themselves, they do look a little bit janky, but I recognise that this is not the final product. So I'm hoping that really is the case, and by the time it is released to us all, we're going to have an incredible experience. For absolutely years, we've just been hearing news about an open world Star Wars game, and we knew nothing about it. We never heard from any official source about what it was, what you could do, and it was just all purely rumour and speculation. Now, I've been waiting for this for years, and I'm just so happy that it's finally here in my lifetime to have this level of activity within the Star Wars universe. Honestly guys, what do you think to this gameplay? Do you feel like they should be adding something in, changing anything, or are you absolutely satisfied with what you can see? Feel free to let me know in the comments.
Star Wars Outlaws, coming 2024.